Stephanie Filo, Taylor Mason, Bradinn French, Robyn Wilson make up the editing team, the historic editing team for a Black Lady sketch show. I'm at Noble Gold Derby, and I want to start off by asking you all, what is the most important thing you're trying to reflect in the editing of this show? And we'll start with Steph.
Oh, I think that it's just like the authenticity of different types of Black women. It's just really highlighting like different stories, different types of characters that maybe we've seen reflected on screen. Yeah, and I think that that's maybe the essence of what we're trying to do ultimately.
Yeah, I agree. I think even though these are, specific goals, they still cater to a larger audience. Even though the show is made for Black women, I find that the comedy is just so funny that a lot of people are enjoying it. And even if they're missing like something very specific or niche, they still enjoy, what we have on screen.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's what works. That's what really works for the show is, you can hit a niche audience, but it's accessible to everybody. I think there's pieces of the show for everybody. And we, in the edit process, we're really looking for how do we give some people some really special stuff? How do we give everybody stuff that, they can enjoy and laugh with? And, even if they're not laughing, how can we give them stuff that might kind of look like something they maybe seen before, but then put a little twist on it and make it really enjoyable. And I think one of the brilliant things about the show is it has that kind of access.
Yeah, I think everybody's sort of said everything, but I just want to point out how unique every one of the sketches is. And we Robyn takes, inspiration from what she sees like every day in the news or in media or movies or whatever. And she sort of brings that, to the forte in each individual sketch, everything from horror to family drama, all of the uniqueness about, African-American culture maybe, or African-American women, but also in a broader spectrum out there in the world. So.
Well, like on that, Robyn, like this nature of the sketch show, but this one does it so well, has the different types of genres and stuff. How do you as like an editor switch gears? Because you probably need a different like editing language depending on what genre you're trying to portray or send up.
Yeah, of course. And so, I think you just sort of draw from your own experience of watching things or being in love with certain genres or, and you sort of, everybody sort of knows the beats of a horror movie and, what happens, when the monster comes out or whatever. And, that's a different take than, if you're doing something like, say for instance, like Product Purge or What Up, I'm 3, the Funeral Ball, they're all different, like, genres and pastiches to things that are in cultural, like African-American history, or things that are more general, like everybody can understand a bad hair day, right? So we all can sort of get behind that, right? So it's something that I think we draw on as fans of just media, films and TV that we love. And so at least for me, I get to sort of, it was fun to be able to move between the genres and know that, something like Chopped or something gets to be something that we go and make into Capped, and that's something that, we can have fun doing, a takeoff on a cooking show, you know what I mean? So yeah, we get it, as I feel, at least for me as a person who's an editor, but also someone who's ingesting all different kinds of media, you sort of already are looking at the beats in a different direction every time you get a different sketch. So,
and you've add to what's that?
Well, I think Robyn is aware of kind of the challenges of switching between genres almost daily. And so she provided a nice reference list for us to kind of look at in between sketches or during, just so we can find some inspo and also, I don't know, correct ourselves or adjust when we're jumping from horror to like slapstick or, you know, something. It was really helpful and, you know, funny to rewatch some of those things.
Like being a comedy, the nature of some of these women that are working on the show, I believe there's like quite a bit of improv. And so you'd have different takes and different things. Bradinn, how does that work in terms of like in an edit room when you got so many different choices and things you can and can't use?
You know, honestly, heading into the show, that was one of the things that I was kind of nervous about, because you know, all these women on this show are really good at improv, and so I knew coming in, that's something watching comedy that I've always kind of wondered how editors handle when people go off script and do improv, and how do you integrate that into the show? And I've never done a show like Black Lady Sketch Show before, and so the way that we handle improv is essentially, well, I can speak for myself. I think we all handle it a little bit differently, but the way that I handle it is, if it's there, if it makes me laugh, I'll put it in a select bin. I think we all kind of keep select bins of various takes where they go various directions, and they do just about every take. Somebody will take it some crazy direction, and it'll be hilarious. And it's kind of about finding a balance between what's scripted and what's driving the story forward, and those improv pieces that are just really hammering home whatever comedic thing they're doing, and kind of weaving them together. It's not you know, a cut and dry process. There's a lot of testing, there's a lot of experimenting, there's a lot of showing each other alts and showing each other versions of things and saying which one of these is hitting just right, you know. And that's in the editor cut, and then, you know, we'll show it to Robyn and she'll say, I remember doing some improv on this, can I see that? So that's where the select bins come in handy, and you can just kind of run through various pieces of improv and test them out in your sequence and see what's working the best for both the comedy, but also for the sketch and the story itself.
Steph, what is that like for you?
Well, so usually when they film the sketches, they'll do like one take that's just regular, right? Like just how it was scripted. And then the rest is just kind of them going wild. So it is kind of, you know, what, like Braden's saying, it's like we pull these selects and alts that make us laugh. I know for me, I'm like, okay, this made me laugh the most, so I'm gonna like highlight it a certain color, or like put a marker that's like LOL on this particular clip. And I basically will just edit it as scripted, and then I just start peppering in the improv beats, and I'm like, okay, which one makes me laugh the most, and then pull out what doesn't. Some sketches end up with like no improv in them. Some sketches end up like 60% improv. Like I know last season, the Last Supper sketch, and this season, the Resurrection sketch, like they both just ended up maybe like 50-60% improv. And it's also kind of impressive that our cast is able to rattle off all these biblical jokes just like
right
on the fly as well. But that's a whole other story. But yeah, I think it speaks to the talents of our cast for sure, that we are able to have all these select bins and just have kind of a, you know, a wealth of jokes to pull from.
Jesus can bring out the best in people, it seems like.
I don't know.
sometimes not the best, but like,
Right.
but for Black Lady Sketch Show seems to do the trick. What about Now, as editors, you have to sit in the room, you have to watch the scenes. You get to watch a Black Lady sketch show probably more times than anyone else. And even the best of jokes sometimes, like after watching it for the 20th time, you sort of see it before. Do each of you have a moment or a joke that just you found funny every time, no matter how many times you had to watch it, like that just made you crack up the most?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Bradinn, seems like you got.
Yeah, I got one on deck. I think everybody knows what mine is. It wasn't even in the actual show sketch. But during the credit roll, we roll like a lot of times we roll the improv, or we'll roll not really outtakes, but it's kind of like little improv takes. And one of them for WTF Wrestling, Robyn is laying on the mat. I can't do it here on my Zoom, but she's like laying on her stomach, and she says, what's she say? Like, I love wrestling, and she clicks her heels, and it makes the most hilarious noise. And I don't know why it killed me every single time, like every single time. And then Fatal Distraction had a bunch of stuff that every single time I saw it, I really died. Like the physical comedy, I think, gets me every single time. I don't really get tired of seeing it.
Robyn?
Yeah, I think he's right. WTF was hilarious. They did a lot of improv for that. But the one that I think I like the most has to be the running stuff that happens at the end of Ashy Sunday. That's the ones that are in the credit bed as well. And it's just Robyn rattling off this long list of things about, how Ashley's feet are. And, it's just like the whole litany of things, and it's just a barrage, but I don't even remember what she says, but every time it just starts, it makes me laugh, because it's just, you can see like the comedy timing, what your feet look like, what they are going to start an insurrection or something like that. It's just all these things. Your feet look like they ran up to the Capitol, and it's just on and on and on, and it's hilarious. That's what makes it like so much of a it's like a plenty. We have so much to work with. Sometimes you don't even, like Bradinn said, know which one to pick, which one is the best for the story. So
Taylor?
Yeah, I mean, I would say Track Girl Magic had me dying from beginning to end. I think my biggest test for what I try to keep in the cut is what continues to make me laugh kind of into the producer's cut after seeing it multiple times. And obviously if Robyn approves, then you get to keep them in. But Track Girl Magic was one that every single outtake had me laughing. And I really could have just blindly thrown one in and been just as happy as the next. So it was challenging for that reason, but I mean, it's kind of the best challenge to have, having so many options.
Steph?
I have a couple favorites this season, but I think my very favorite is the improv run between Dr. Hadassah and Supreme Ramik.
Yeah.
So this is a character that for 3 seasons she's been kind of talking about, Supreme Ramik, and we finally meet him, and it's Michael Ealy, and they have just the most like insane back and forth that I like. Even they were supposed to shoot it actually in season 2, and then because of COVID and there's kids in the sketch, they couldn't do it. So I've been like marinating on this sketch for 2 seasons. So finally they did it, and it was like so much more than I could have ever imagined. So I think I'm gonna say that's my favorite.
Well, the congratulations are in order. I should have congratulated you earlier on. You are nominated as a team for the category for Outstanding Picture Editing for a Variety Program. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and it has been known to happen that I've been mistaken, but you are the first all-black editing team nominated for an Emmy Award. So that is historic in of itself before you've even won it. But like to add on to that, a Black Lady Sketch Show did win this category last year. I believe, Steph, you were the only one that's currently on the team that was part of that win last year. So you've got a chance to go back to back. Everyone else has a chance to win their first Emmy if you guys can pull it off. I believe last year might have been, was it the first all women minority team, women of color team to win that category as well. So very exciting. History happening all over the place with this show at the Emmys. Steph, do you want to just tell us what it was like to win that Emmy last year and what it means to get that nomination with this with some new colleagues this year?
Last year, I think it was just really surreal. The experience was kind of like we didn't know what to expect because it was COVID and we got there and like there were so many protocols, but we won, we got up on the stage, and I think it was just like it was a reminder like what a monumental moment it was, because it's like we looked out at the audience and it's a very like not diverse audience, and I think that's something that in the world of post-production is just so common. It's not a very diverse space, so it just meant a lot to be able to be like representation in that sort of way. But I think also, you know, we shouldn't have been the first all women of color team in 2021 either. You know, that's also kind of a like shameful thing as well. So I think, you know, Robyn always says we're a Black lady sketch show, not the Black lady sketch show, so that people can come after us and do it. So I think, you know, we're the first, but that's in the hopes that there can be many more.
Yeah. Does anyone want to add to what that Emmy nomination has meant to you this year? I believe it's the rest of your first time nomination.
Yeah. I go ahead, Taylor.
I'm stoked. It's, you know, kind of like Steph said, it's a little bittersweet because, you know, obviously it's an Emmy nom for work that we love, but it also is, you know, it's strange that it's now just the first time, you know, an all color or post team of color or all post Black team are working together. And I can only hope that, you know, kind of having eyes on this will, you know, promote more diversity in the cutting room, basically. And just people seeing that, you know, or that our work is just is quality, if not more so than what a lot of people unfortunately expect. And it, you know, it sucks that it has to kind of be proven in this way, but hopefully after this is everything said and done, you know, it'll open the door for more colorful rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say it much better than Steph and Taylor are saying. I think we've all been in edit rooms that are not diverse, and that's not a weird thing. That's a pretty normal thing. And so I think it's important to us, to all of us, that kids coming up can see like Black kids, kids of color, like everybody can look at a team like ours and say, hey, that's something I could do too. Because I know that I didn't know this was an opportunity that was open to me when I was younger. And I would have appreciated seeing people that looked like me. And yeah. I think it's all of our hope that you know, we can help be a step towards being more visible, especially in post-production. I mean, across the board, but especially in post-production where, you know, there's a lot of young kids who are great storytellers and would be fantastic at this job, but they don't see us and they don't know that this is something that not only is realistic as a goal, but is also something that they can achieve a level of success at and be recognized for by their peers. And I think that's a really beautiful opportunity that we've been given. And I hope that we can continue to push forward.
Robyn?
No, I don't think I'm touching that. What Bradinn said is perfect because, you know, that's what we're kind of doing this for. And hopefully through this interview as well, you know, we'd want to make sure that other people see that there's an opportunity here to help tell the stories. I mean, yes, of course, we want, more Ryan Coogler's, more Jordan Peele's, but there are also other jobs that you can hold as well, and esteemed jobs where your work is recognized. So yeah, we're a big proponent about mentoring and being visible to the next generation. So.
It's like talking about this now, I'm just like thinking of sort of how we see with a Black Lady sketch. So stuff that is so silly, ridiculous, and stupid come head to head with stuff that is so serious and important. And in the television landscape and what we're seeing on TV at the moment. So I'd like to thank you all so much for giving up your busy time to talk with us at the moment at Gold Derby, and all the best of luck for the upcoming Emmy Awards. People can go to Gold Derby to make your predictions, to join the discussion in our forums. And yeah, all the best of luck, guys. Thanks for giving up your time today to talk with me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you so much.